Okay, hi everyone. My name is Karan Sharma, Managing Director of Marshalls, India's number one brand for wall coverings. I welcome you all back to Marshall Social, where we engage with prominent architects and designers, acknowledge the tremendous work that they have been doing, and bring to our audience face to face with the ideas, vision, and creativity of our guests. Today, it is my honor uh, today it is my honor to present the marathon man of architecture, architect Ninad Tipnis, on our Instagram live. His design philosophy is characterized by simplicity, distinct lines, forms that incorporate a sense of flexibility and scalability. His firm has designed spaces for leading corporates and banks across India, and he has been bestowed upon with numerous awards by his fraternity. So I am welcoming today architect Nat Tipnis, and he should be joining in right now. Okay. Uh, Good evening, sir. Welcome to
Hey Karan,
Marshall Social. Hi. So nice to have you on our social media platform, Marshall Social. And I just gave a very small brief introduction of you, which I know is extremely brief given the accolades, the work that you have done over the years. So again, welcome to you, sir. And I look forward to having a nice, good conversation with you over the next, over the next over the next half an hour at least.
thank you, Karan. Me, thank you, team Marshals, Mona, and great initiative. It's a pleasure to be always associated with you. And so let's have some fun on this Saturday evening.
Yeah. Yes, I know. We unfortunately both of us are sitting in our offices on Saturday evening, but we'll try to make as fun as we could in this.
Why, unfortunately? I call it fortunately.
Uh,
You're fortunate to be working, right?
yes, that I know. In these times, we are fortunately working.
Correct.
So Ninad sir, you have been in architecture for over 2 decades now. How did this all begin? What I mean, I know your firm is named after your father. So was father for your real inspiration to get into this field?
Absolutely. I think growing up, he was the Superman I saw, and at a which I got associated with the glamour which architecture brings. And little did I know that there is a lot of grind which goes behind that glamour. And so it was very easy to get into architecture. And then I think I did a 10-year stint with him. Towards the end of that stint, a very interesting, we did the retail headquarters for this major PSU. Uh, this is a workplace design project, and workplace
Okay.
design projects were between almost negligible in my father's firm
In
because
in which year was this?
wow, this was late 90s, early
Okay.
2000s, late 90s. So interestingly, two things happened. One was I decided and I realized that workplace is my calling, and two, I don't have it in me to thrive in the PSU sector. So, project, two different outcomes. And soon enough, I started my own firm with my father's blessings, started from scratch. and we still consider ourselves a startup. We are still learning, and it's been a good ride.
Wow. I think so. It was your father who got you in. So there was no other career choice you had in your mind
Uh,
while growing up.
Not really, not really. Uh,
Okay. So it was
one
right
of
in your.
one of one of the parameters attached to having a role model so close to you.
Uh, I guess I am following the same footsteps as you are. So I think
Exactly.
while
Something we
growing
both
up,
have in common.
yeah, I mean wherever I mean right from birth, it's always been wallpapers for the walls. So even when you go to a new place, the first thing that you do is go and touch the walls and see whether there's paint or wallpaper or what is the wall finish on it.
Correct.
Okay, so I think that we really share in common. Now, moving forward, Ninad sir, on the website, there's quite a stress on value for time and space utilization. Would you say this forms the base for doing all your projects in a particular way, or it all depends upon the client's brief, and then you adapt from project to project or client to client?
I think it's a great observation. I think it mainly stems from the fact that we do multinational corporates, and that too from the BFSI sector. BFSI stands for Banking, Financial Services, Insurance. So there is a degree of discipline, there is a degree of process, there is a degree of program management, and so uh, right from an early stage we were kind of instilled with those values, and you know we learned very early to balance aesthetics with the sanctity of a business plan and not let architectural aspirations go astray. Uh, and to always respect the business plan. At the end of the day, uh, if your check writer is not happy, there's no point in achieving that project. So, in a way, yes, on time and on schedule and on budget, uh, which define our work. Primarily because of the clientele we cater to. Uh, More often than not, these are very large spaces, Karan. So a time spillover and a budget spillover can lead to uh, can lead to some unpleasant results. So
Okay.
we try to be on the better side of that.
Okay. So tell me, you have been a corporate project specialist, with massive clients like Deutsche Bank, Axis, BNP Paribas, Emirates, BMW, Visa, and the list goes on. What is about the segment that really holds your attention? And also tell us, how do you plan such a massive project? Like 1 lakh square feet. How do you start? I mean, where do you start? Getting ideas. How do you start with such a large project?
So the first thing here is I want to give credit to my team, uh, my ex team, my current team. Um, you know, it is a team effort. It is a collaborative effort, not just within JTCPL Designs, uh, but we also have to collaborate uh, with multiple consultants of diverse disciplines. They bring a lot of expertise on board, on the table, including the client. Uh, this is this is one sector where your client is earning, your client is also an expert in the domain. And so you're always on your toes, but the fun is you're always learning. Thanks to all these contemporaries who swim in this ocean. And I would say it is collaboration. It is being better listeners, which helps us do these
teamwork makes it
Oh,
really easy. It seems humongous when you look at it. The optics surely make it uh, scary. It is really very easy once you are a humble listener. Once you allow the client to convey their aspirations. Once you allow your employees to also perform and you look out for them, I think your job becomes really. And you know what the best part is, Karan? Uh, at the
yeah.
end of all this humongous effort, it is the architect who gets the credit.
Wow. So I mean, there was this famous movie director, and he was asked, which is the best movie you have made till now? And he said that he famously said, "My next one." So, how do you, I mean, obviously you have done so many projects. How do you motivate yourself? How do you challenge yourself for your next project that it has to be even better than the previous one?
I think I think the answer is in your question. Even better next. Very simple. 4 words. If you keep that as a mantra, even better next time, you will be a listener. You will be uh, in observation mode all the time. You will learn trends, what are happening. You will remain to be on the cutting edge of technology. And I think that responsibility will rub down to the team. Uh, I think it's a virtuous cycle. Uh, I don't know where it starts, whether my team inspires or I inspire them. But I think we did some really good work in the lockdown. And before the lockdown, I would say, my answer to that question of yours would have been my last project is my best project. But lockdown, I think we created some really memorable experiences, and the way we supported our clients and the clients supported us, I think will remain etched in my memory for a very long time.
Okay. So I'm going to ask how you went about it. But before I do that, I'll also, a lot of people have joined in for Insta Live. So if the audience also would like to ask questions to Ninad sir, you can put in your questions and we'll try to ask him later on during this conversation. So design trends, keep changing over time. I'm sure when you started off, what was thought to be good no longer is supposed to be good enough. So how do you keep yourself abreast of all these changes, design changes, technology changes? Or let me ask you, how do you set a new trend in designing? I mean, I'm sure you must have created some, and you have created some memorable projects. So how do you set a trend in designs, which others can follow? And what has been the change in trends over the years, which you have experienced yourself?
I think now it is easier in the early stages of the practice. In the stages of the practice, uh, uh, the quality of work we are doing now. When I say quality of work, I mean the depth of uh, the collaboration potential we have with multiple stakeholders in a project, which just because of the size of the project. It is very easy to learn on a large scale project. You have to use and you have to adapt to cutting edge technology. And it is so simple because each stakeholder brings their best on the table. And by virtue of that, you learn. In the beginning of the practice, we had to take a lot of effort to learn, to study, to observe, and to do research. It used to be a separate activity. Uh, you know, now research happens alongside work. You have to ensure that your planning principles are up to the mark. They are in sync with the business plan. You have to ensure that the material you're using is stands the test of time, is sustainable. Uh, you know, you have to be mindful of the carbon footprint your project is leaving. A lot of things, essentially. But to answer your question in a very brief manner, I think the practice uh, behooves you to research and to bring your best and to at the cutting edge of technology.
Wow. So I think, yeah, technology is something which has really changed all our lives, over the years, and right from drawing on paper to AutoCADs and so on. I'm sure so many things have changed to you also over the years. Just going back to your projects, there is a famous saying again, that God lies in the details. And I read somewhere that you are extremely focused on the minutest of details to get it right. So do you, because a personal experience also is sometimes when you go to a new restaurant, you find overall it looks good, but there are small things which have not been paid attention to. So do you get panicky about these minutest of things, or how do you focus on these small areas? It can be the edges of a table. It could be so many small things in a huge project that you are looking at.
I think again it's all boils work. You don't focus on the details, you focus on the teamwork. And then the team does what they are supposed to do. We follow a unique ability principle. Uh, this great thinker and coach called Dan Sullivan coined this term, unique ability. And essentially, unique ability means doing what you do best and enjoying what you do best. It's uh, it's the principle where if you're doing something you love doing, you automatically have better chances of excelling at it rather than doing something which you don't enjoy doing, right? And
Sure.
we've got ourselves right when we love what we are doing, it almost becomes meditative. It almost becomes effortless, and that is when your best work. So what we do is we rely heavily on collaboration and teamwork, and so the best person suited for that particular job does that particular aspect, and so then you get to see the best of each aspect. For example, we follow an empowerment. Somebody who does layouts best does the layouts. Somebody who does designs and breeds aesthetics into the project. It's really like a shop floor where each expert, each champion takes care of his or her faculty. And then, we just curate the whole thing together and it looks piece of art.
Okay. Wow. So just a little feedback, I think, from the audience that your volume is little low. I think I'm able to hear you, but the audience is unable to hear you as loud. So if you could just speak a little bit louder. Okay. Sir, just carrying on with this conversation, there's always a mixing of element with the architecture and interior design. How connected do you feel is architecture and interior design? How do you design and plan? Is it inside out or outside in? How do you see this situation?
So this is a get asked very often, and sometimes the clients ask this question that how should we approach it? Should we facade studies first and sun part diagrams and then go inside and then plan the layout based on rays of sunlight, and how do you place your vertical spaces, and how do you place the open office, uh, and I'm pertaining to the discipline of what we do, but the answer clearly is there is no outside and there is no inside. It is one whole, right? It is whole. Uh, when I say whole, I mean WHOLE. So you don't look at it compartmentalized. You look at it look at it as one piece of architecture, and that architecture flows. It is seamless. It is seamless. So again, it depends a lot on the brief. There are times when we do campus design, then we are looking at essentially a series of buildings in which we have to set out and plan this. In such a case, it's not just areas we have to focus on. We have to also look at how the buildings talk to each other. We have to focus on climate. We have to focus on what material palette we bring into the project, which responds to that climatology. And we work in 20 plus states in the country. We work on overseas projects where climates are extreme, especially the Middle East, where you're looking at temperatures in excess of 52 degrees centigrade. So that just puts your heat load calculations when it comes to air conditioning planning through the roof. So you have to consider a lot of parameters, and again marry them back. You have to bring them back to the client brief. So that is how you do it.
Wow. I mean, when you look at beautiful buildings, you just feel that it is so easy to do. And when you get into the detailing part of it, how where the sun is facing, what temperature it would be hitting the glasses with, and so on, is when you realize the kind of work which goes into planning such huge projects. So thank you for
But
throwing
I'll
some light on
tell you,
that,
Karan,
Ninad sir.
let me tell you one very interesting thing. Since the last 6-7 years, we've also started working on HNIs and family businesses and all that. So we have smaller workplaces. You look at smaller in terms of the floor plate and the size. So those are more difficult to do than these campuses or these 100,000 plus projects. Just a couple of weeks back, we were remarking as a team that it is so challenging to do a 1,000 square feet project compared to a 500,000 square feet project. It's very very different. So we are learning.
So I'll just take it as a hint that the smallest office that you'll do is a 10,000 square feet one.
Not really. So we've never allowed size to govern our decisions. We have always looked at the brief. We have looked at the client. We've always worked with clients about whom we can feel a sense of pride, gratitude. We've very respected regrets to some marquee clients. Some marquee prospects. But we've kind of been as enthusiastic as children to work on 3,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet project. These are briefs which challenge us. So it's not the size. It's a misconception that JDCPL Designs only does large projects. It's a misconception. We go behind briefs which challenge us. So current drawing boards.
I think
currently on our drawing boards we have projects ranging from 3,000 square feet to 3,000 square feet, and everything in between.
Wow. And everything is as important to you.
Absolutely.
Wow. So I think that is very good to know for all the audience also out there. Please can you just share with us some of the most challenging projects that you have done, and how you overcame the challenges which came in front of you, or something which really needed a lot of innovation to be done to get things done?
So again, challenging is a very interesting term. Challenging is also a very term. What was challenging at the beginning of the practice in the early years uh, is not challenging now. Maybe now the challenges are different. So
So
earlier it
let me
used to be
put it the
ignorance.
other
It used to
let let me put it the other way. Which has been the most satisfying?
satisfying. Definitely, Karan, the projects we evolved in the lockdown. Definitely the most satisfying. Uh, One of the largest general insurance companies in the country. Uh, very satisfying. Very supportive client. Very supportive team project. Maintaining deadlines, maintaining budgets, maintaining timelines. Uh, Pandemic. Not easy. Very satisfying. Then at the end of the delivery, when the client acknowledges your efforts and the client, uh, acknowledges the entire team, uh, as a leader, that gives you the maximum satisfaction. Uh, as a policy, I've stopped attending felicitation functions when we kind of have handed over sites, and that is essentially because what makes me the happiest is when I see my team being celebrated by my clients. So, I when I started this practice, I used to miss being there initially, but now, uh, I get feedback from my team and I get a download from my team, and I feel very happy. And then just a phone call to the client and expressing gratitude for us to be of service, that really satisfies me immensely. Um, Actually,
I think the hallmark of
we initially we struggled with the simplest of situations, and it is really funny when we kind of uh, get nostalgic and go back in time. The kind of things we used to stress on back in the days, it is so funny. Not reading specifications, ordering without looking at what the client wish list is. Small things, Karan. And we've done design build right from the beginning. Designs adds another layer of challenge where buck stops at you. There is no place to shift the blame. Uh, Another challenging which comes to my mind is the project we did together for this large business intelligence company, right? And we had to deliver that project, 110,000 square feet of that project in such a short period of time. I think it was 5 to 80 days. So that was an amazing thrill. That was the 35th kilometer of the marathon, where you know uh, anything can happen at that stage. You can cramp, you can just hit the wall. So each day counts at that stage, and I'm very tell our viewers also the rock solid support the Marshalls team has provided us all these years, and I think we are now used to dealing with the stress. Right? We've kind of
yes.
learned to enjoy this. Calls at odd hours, your trucks getting dispatched at odd hours, reaching site just when the wallpaper is to be installed. It's so much fun.
No, that's true. But what I really loved about what you have been speaking about the teamwork, I think the hallmark of a great leader, which I think your team will acknowledge that you are, is that all accolades go to the team and any brickbats go to the leader. So if that leader is able to do that, I think that itself shows the leadership skills. You know that when something goes bad, you have to protect the team, and when everything is good, it's the team which is the one who's doing it.
So it sounds very cliche, but I'm really blessed to have a fantastic. I'm really proud of what they produce and the kind of work they bring on the table. And I am them every single day. The kind of drive they bring, the kind of focus they showed in the lockdown, and the kind of energy to the client brief they displayed is just amazing. It makes leadership such a breeze. It makes leadership such a treat. Uh, you know, Again, it's going back to the unique ability principle which I spoke about. Nobody
Sure.
oversteps. Everybody is playing in their own circle of genius, and they shine a light on each other, and therefore, shining a light on the client becomes very easy through our work.
Sure. So, I mean, you have been speaking a lot about, how COVID has been a challenge for you. Now, post-COVID, or now we're coming to, maybe hopefully the end of this passage, very, very difficult time. Uh, how has your perspective been changed, or what do you feel the positive change which has been brought in by this difficult phase of working? Also with the whole concept of work from home becoming more relevant or prevalent now. What do you think that will change in the kind of way you design offices? Will there be a kind of a change? Will are corporates looking at using their office spaces? What take on all these things?
So I'll address this in two parts. Part one is, even though COVID-19 was a challenge, I think the choice of actions always remained with us, and that is what differentiated players who are in this for the long run, players with a winning mindset, otherwise. So I think we were blessed to handle the challenge with the right set of actions, with focus, consistency, and discipline. I think we just ramped up our internal collaboration. Lucky, we had shifted to the cloud a year back. Again, an initiative single-handedly taken by a team leader. All I had to do was just sanction the proposal, Karan. Uh, uh,
Okay.
this team member completely implemented our migration to the cloud, which made from home very easy in the initial days when the honorable chief minister declared lockdown for our benefit. And I think we were ready. We were ready before the lockdown because of all our drawings, all our designs on the cloud, and made uh, it made us collaborate in a very different way. Again, we adapted to Zoom uh, very quickly. In the I was always a practitioner of Zoom much before the pandemic, and
Okay.
on a lighter note, I tell the team that I had been pushed to adapt to Zoom 2 years before this. And I mean, I'm so thankful to the pandemic that you improvised during the pandemic. Had you improvised before, you would have been on from day one. So these were some of the actions we took. Definitely, there was a challenge. Were we afraid? Definitely, yes. We were scared. But how did we care into a series of positive actions made? So that is part A. Part B is, Karan, there is no one size fits all. There are certain corporates who have no option but to run the office. So we do a lot of specialized service centers, knowledge process outsourcing units, where the sheer
Okay.
investment and technology and the setup is so immense that occupants it is impossible for them to work at home. These are literally 24/7 facilities where you have flex. you can check in whenever. You have collaborative areas, you have gaming areas, you have wellness rooms, you have phenomenal food. It's. I mean, some of the recent service centers we have done literally have food courts which will put malls to shame. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I I think the office tagline has to change is better than home.
Correct. So that was one end of the spectrum, and definitely there are other business models who can definitely thrive working from home, and then there are formulae in between. So there is no one size fits all. Work from home (WFH) is the most abused term. It could be a hybrid model for all you know. For example, at JTCPL Designs, we are following a hybrid model. There are people working alongside me. I'm in the workplace right now. There are a bunch of us here. A lot of us are working from home, and yet we gel as a unit. We produce work, and we deliver seamlessly. So this is a formula which is working for us. For some, you have to be physically present, because one is not able to replicate the kind of infrastructure which the corporate has invested in. So, and again,
True.
this is again part research. We are in the process of studying this evolution. How workplaces are performing and behaving, and what are best practices. How are people looking at social distancing? And again, we are very closely monitoring and how vaccination will bring about change, de-densification, get back to re-densifying workplaces in a country like India, in a geography where people make the most of square footage. So there are two ends of the spectrum where Europe follows a much sparser density compared to India. So
one of the most ignored or less known area for somebody in architecture is the research part. People tend that who's researching and doing. People look at creativity and just design things. But there's a lot of research which goes at the back end to actually think that what is needed for you to create, right? So I think this is one of the most underplayed areas of architecture, that is research.
So again, current research to tag the activity as research. I would definitely recommend to everybody on this call to listen to Steve Jobs' commencement speech. I think he did that speech in Stanford, and it is readily available on.
Yes.
And he says that if you find something you enjoy, you will always eat, drink, breathe, sleep that activity. So for me, my life is three pillars: JDCPL Designs, my running, and my family. That's it. And so I happen to, in your terms, research about these three pillars. Again, Dan Sullivan has this phenomenal. The eyes only see and the ears only hear what the brain is looking for. So if you cut the noise and if you discipline yourself from shiny distraction, things will come to you automatically over the years. Your system will start absorbing what is relevant to you. So just like you said, the first impulse reaction is to touch and feel a surface, whether it is wallpaper
Yes.
or whether it is specialty paint or what have you. Now that is because you only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for. Similarly, every DCPL designs. We have such interesting discussions, and even the jokes are around workplaces and clients, and because that is life. That is our life. And we
True,
have
true.
chosen joy out of it. It's all about choice. I think,
Yes,
Karan,
I think
it is.
happiness.
I think a lot of viewers have posted questions. I would request people to please repost, because I was so engrossed in my
No,
conversation
no,
with Karan. Karan, whenever we have had
we
they've always been immersive, and we've always enjoyed our interactions with each other, right?
no, no. I am making notes of the questions my team is, so I will put forward the questions to you. Once we are done with the
Oh, great.
conversation.
That'll be super.
Okay.
That'll be super.
So I'm going to ask something which is more personal to us now, personal in the sense in terms of product. You have been one of the early users of wallpapers in the architect fraternity. I'm talking about early 2000s when architects and designers wouldn't look at wallpapers that much. And you were one of the early adapters. You were always open to using the product. Uh, you know, Tell us what are your views about wallpaper as a product, and do you still need to convince your client that you want to put wallpaper in their offices, or everyone over the years has changed their way they look at the product?
I think it is now a standard feature in our project. Here, there used to be a degree of selling, and we had to kind of educate clients. Animal called wallpaper. It was new that time, late 90s and 2000s. It was still entering the market. I still remember this med spa we did for this Singapore client of ours, and that was one of the early med spas in the country and in the city. Uh, and because the client was a client of ours, we got pulled into a med spa project. And I remember Mona and I evolving that project, and she helping me with the finishes. And I was new to wallpapers that time, but of study and research she had done, and that really made a great collaborative. Again, Singapore back then, 20 years back, Singapore was a much matured market compared to India to adapt
Yes.
wallpapers and wall. So it was very easy. I remember using clean wallpaper, as Mona was calling it that time. There was, you know, from a hygiene standard and from a clean perspective, what would be most compatible in spa. And it was a no-brainer for the client, and so we went ahead. Cut to 2020, 2021. I think we really consume massive quantities of wallpaper, and I think there is no question asked. I think the speed at which we deliver projects, I think it's a no-brainer for us, Karan, if you ask me.
True, true. I think Mona being herself an interior designer by qualification, I think is perfect in terms of how she can propose products to the architects and designers like you. So, and I mean, wallpaper for us also has undergone so many transformations over the years, and I think it's been clients like you, architects like you who have really pushed the product. But I would really love to see a stage where there is no paint and only wallpapers in your projects. And I hope that happens. It happens in the near future. So, now going away from the business part of it, on a personal level, you are a marathon man. It is an extension now. I think it is as good as extension of your personality. I mean, since the time I've been meeting you for the last 20 years, and I have grown old, whereas you have started to look younger and younger with every passing year. So I think you are aging the reverse way. How did this this marathon running all begin? I believe you have run, I think, two or three full marathons till now, and half a dozen half marathons as well.
No, a long time back. I think I would have done full marathons now, and marathons I've stopped counting now, but I've transited to a half marathon distance now, because that is what gives me more joy. A full marathon is very serious business, and it takes a lot out of you. And like I said, life is evolutionary. So I've reached a stage where these three pillars are most important to me: JTCPL designs, my family, and running. I mean, running is transcendental. What I mean is health. So, I think I just keep running because I enjoy it. Then it doesn't become a chore. It doesn't become a strenuous activity. It is almost meditative. And again, it's like a virtuous cycle. The benefits of my running transfer to the practice, and the benefits of the practice transfer to. So
Okay.
it's like two sides of the same coin. One cannot separate
So
one from the other.
my question to a marathoner is always keep on thinking for 21 kilometers that you are running, which is what, 1.5 hour.
No. That is like super fast. But yes, you tend to start looking at it seriously. I think I've been running now for 12 years. And I think that kind of, it becomes like an auto suggestion now. It's some serious number of kilometers you've put in 12 years. So it, you wake up and there is a spring in your step and you want to go for your run, and then automatically your work is a part of your life. And so there have been several occasions, Karan, where I've put in a challenge. I've installed a challenge at the beginning of the run, and I kid you not, towards the end of the answers are just the answers solved. It is amazing. I generally run solo. I don't run predominantly. I don't run in a group. I run with a very few people. My mentor. I run with him. There are a few runners I look up to. I run with them. But what I'm trying to get to essentially is any kind of health activity or sport activity which you worship or which you enjoy. Will always bring that mental well-being. Will always help perform better in your vocation. And it will always proliferate in the quality of work which you bring on the table every single day.
Sure. I think that's a very important note, that you should have some hobby with you, which keeps your mind away from your routine working also, so that it brings more freshness also to your work. So, okay, Natsar, I know we have a 1 hour time slot, and the time has flown. It's been 50 minutes already. So I need to just finish off a few things before we end those last 10 minutes. And I think it's been one of a very, very breezy conversation. A few rapid fire questions to you, and there are a few questions from the audience as well, which I'll just read out. But before that, I just want to engage with a few rapid fire questions to you, and so that you can give me some impromptu answers as well. Your first job.
So my first job was I made a model. I made an architect model, and I gathered a bunch of friends, and uh, good money by making that model. So we used to do architecture school. Immediately after architecture, we used to get to model making, and we really made this phenomenal model which we sold to an architectural practice, and we made good money. We were all students that time, and $6,000 money that time. I gave all that money to my
So
mother.
what? Okay, so that was my next question. What did you do with the first pay that you got?
So I bought a sari from my mother with the entire money.
Okay. Wow. That is pretty special. Okay, so my next question, your inspiration.
Learning.
Okay, and your role model.
Again, role models keep shifting, Karan. There are different roles. When you look at running, there are different role models. When you look at architects, there are different role models. When you look at running a business, there are different role models. And I think what I've learned is your role models keep evolving. And I think that should be the nature of the beast. You should always be learning. A mentor taught me a very important thing, very early. Always associate with people who remind you of the and
Wow.
disassociate with people who pull you in the past. And that has been my barometer always.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes,
That's a
the,
very good thought that you put in.
the easiest definition of a positive person is a positive person will always have the future. And the definition of a negative
Future.
person is the negative person will always past.
Yes, I think that is also the reason why you are a quick wallpaper adapter. Wallpaper always reminds you of the future. Okay, Ninad Tipnis, the architect or the marathon runner?
I think I don't differentiate between architecture and marathon running. I think
No,
it is
no,
both.
no, no,
They are
no,
both.
no diploma. One. What's your preference?
So at this stage, I would say marathon run.
Nice. If you had not been an architect, what would you have been?
Wow, this is rapid fire. So without giving it much thought, I would say a psychologist.
Psychologist. Wow,
I
I
love
think that
studying
would have been
people.
nice.
I love studying people. I love studying people's aspiration. That is my unique ability. That is what role in the team is. I am the bridge between the client's
Nice.
aspirations and I translate it into an architectural bridge of the team. That is my job.
What do you do when not? What's your favorite pastime or spending time away from the office?
I love reading, uh, running.
Nice. Okay, your hidden talent, which very few people are aware of.
Hidden talent. Wow. Uh, I would have loved to host a calligraphy exhibition. I love calligraphy.
Okay, so you do it also yourself?
I'm not a trained calligraphist, but people say that I can write beautifully, can write well.
All right. And this is one of the questions which has also come up. Your advice to aspiring architects and interior designers.
That's a tough one. I think I'm the one who should be advice from them. There is so much to learn from this young generation. They just blow me away. The kind of pace they have in their actions, the kind of confidence they have in themselves. It's just amazing. I would just share what has worked for me. So is I have I have disciplined my mind to enjoy doing things which I do. Uh, if you seek joy in what you're doing, you will find joy. Keep complaining about what you're doing, you will find problems. And so it is becoming a master of better choices. I would say architecture and interior design demands a lot of patience and a lot of delayed gratification. So I would say before becoming students of architecture and interior design, please check the level of patience you have, and please check the level of perseverance and adaptability you have. If you have that in you, nobody can stop you from being successful.
Wow, that is indeed a great advice. And last question, three words to describe you, sir. My three words for you are
Forever keep
humble,
learning.
simple, and dynamic.
These are big adjectives for somebody. My three words will be always keep learning.
All right. So, okay, we have a few questions, and if all of you don't know already that architect Ninad sir has also written a beautiful work, a beautiful book, which is also available on Amazon to buy. It's on the 5 Ds. Um, so tell me, Ninad sir, just a little brief about this book. What are these 5 Ds that you diligently follow?
So very briefly, this book was something, this algorithm. So I've been a student. I study successful people. Napoleon Hill has been a big inspiration to me. For those who don't know Napoleon Hill, he was one of the earliest, and he spent significant years of his life. And when I say significant years, I would say 25, 30 years of his life to studying successful people. And there came a point in time where I wanted to distill for myself, and I came up with this algorithm of the 5 Ds. And then I just felt to get it out in print, and so I self-published this book. It's just, I kind of timed it such that one should be able to finish this book from Bombay to Bangalore in a flight. Uh, and now I'm being proven right. The chances of readers finishing a 40-page book are far higher than a 4 attention spans have reduced. So, this is a very thin
True.
book, and it speaks about the 5 Ds. I'll cover it very briefly. The 5 Ds are dream, dare, determine, discipline, and deliver. That's it. So everything starts with a dream, and then you dare your dream, and then you determine the action steps to bring your dream to fruition, and then you discipline yourself, and then you deliver. That's it.
True. All right, Ninad sir, I think we would love to continue this conversation. Unfortunately, Instagram puts a 1 hour timeline to this, and we were just about there. So thank you so very much for joining in this. I think it's been a great experience for me personally to talk to you, and I hope it's been the same for everyone who has joined into this session and who can also listen to this entire session on our page, Marshall's Wall Coverings for Eternity. So thank you very much again, sir, for gracing this occasion, and I hope you had as good a time as I had talking with you. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Team Marshalls, Mona, Karan, Pratap, Rohan, everybody at Marshalls. My best wishes, and above everyone, thank you for everyone who joined on a Saturday evening. We just had fun. Karan and I always have fun in our conversations. Mona and I have a lot of fun when we have conversations. So thank you very much for joining. Cheers. Bye. All the best.
Bye. Thank you, sir.